Guys, I want to tell you a little Lions. Dan Campbell spoke today. Just a couple of updates. David Montgomery will not practice today. It doesn't look like he will play on Monday, but Dan Campbell said he was encouraged by his recovery. So maybe with the extra week, maybe we'll see him the week after the bye. That would be great. But Jahmyr Gibbs has been doing some good things in that run game. This was one of the things that stood out to me today. Just talking about last week and who was that team that you saw on the field last week. Here's Dan Campbell saying that last week what you saw, that was not us.
We just got to get back to what we do, get back to our fundamentals, our basic, then we get to the game plan. So I think that's a lot of it. I think the other is, look, let's call it what it is. We'll get back in the flow of a normal game here. That was not who we were. I don't believe that. Now, it was out there and it happened, but we're going to be able to convert. We're going to find a way to convert. Our defense is going to play good football, and we'll be able to complement each other, and that'll get us going again here. But there again, it's not a panic. Man, we just work on the little things, man, the first step, the pad level, the bend, the snap off, the finish. And you emphasize those. We got our guys, man, they know. They're prideful guys, and they're going to be ready to put the work in.
That sound you just heard is courtesy of DetroitLions.com. Look, Dan Campbell took him back to the basics, and that's what you got to do. When you play a game like that and you get destroyed, absolutely destroyed, and you got up until Monday night to play your next game, Wednesday you go back to the basics. Maybe it's not a practice. Maybe you guys are just out there. You're going through stuff that you would go through in the beginning of training camp. That's what we're talking about. Pad level, getting low in your stance on the line of scrimmage, working your footwork as a defensive back, linebackers, working your lateral movements, working on catching going against running backs in space. Defensive lineman, Aiden Hutchinson, that pad level, working on your moves.
What the hell's pad level?
Pad level is the low man wins. Like in the NFL, the low man wins. That's why you see a lot of these. Like, look at Micah Parsons. When he's coming off the ball, he's legitimately face mask on the grass.
That was James Houston.
100%. James Houston, another good call. So that's the pad level. Wide receivers, if you're up against a DB, it's one-on-one press. The low guy, the guy gets shakes and gets down, gets low. I'm going to get under the pad level, and I'm going to be able to put the DB out of position and get by him. So you just work on those things, and then slowly but surely, you remind those guys, it's one game. It's no need to panic, which he keeps saying. That's a good thing. It's not the panic. It's one game. We're second place in the NFC, and we're playing against a team who, even though we just got blown out, we're still favored by 8.5. They're definitely going to be on the right track, and he's easing them into it, and then they're going to take off today and tomorrow.
Look at Bray throwing out numbers.
Absolutely. Hey, I have to ask Tom Mazaway this trivia question. When you hear the words pad level, who do you think of?
I think of Rod Marinelli.
Absolutely.
Rod Marinelli. All I needed to hear was shovel.
Dude,
and my pick is sharp.
Marinelli, maybe 20 times a press conference would talk about pad level.
Pad level.
And you're just like, what are you talking about? Pad level. I mean, I know it means that, but like that's all he said.
My shovel is sharp.
Yep. Hey, why'd you guys get blown out? Pad level.
Pad level.
Yeah. What you just couldn't do anything in the run game. Pad level is bad.
Pad level. That's why I finally had to ask, what the hell pad level
pad
was?
Level, man, low man wins. It's crazy. Is when you start winning, when you start rolling. I don't care how good you are. Like the Patriots, I've seen the Patriots be rolling back when Tom was in his prime. Get the rolling. You start not focusing on technique. You start overlooking things. You start glossing over stuff. Not watching as much film. Not worrying about what the man next to you is doing, et cetera, et cetera. You start easing and coasting through practice. And then you get your ass whooped. And it puts you back into perspective. Now you're like, hey, you can't let the little things go. You can't let the little details go. The teams that win, the teams that get there at the end, they're always focused on the details as well as the other stuff too.
Bray, talk to me about. I feel like we have new people that listen to us every day. Somebody's finding us for the first time, and we appreciate it. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. When you get blown out like that, like they did last week, there are certain things that happen. Coaches do certain things. Tell the people the story about when you guys got blown out by the Patriots, what Rex Ryan did with the football.
So it was Monday Night Football. We were 9-2. The New York Jets, the Patriots were 9-2 as well. We were fighting for first place in the AFC and first place, obviously, in the division. And we go up to Gillette. It's a cold November night. We go up there and we just get trounced. It's one of those things where, you guys, the quarterbacks were overthrowing passes in the warm-ups. Like, receivers were dropping passes, me included. Like, defensive, it was just, you can see the energy wasn't there. Game starts. They go down the field. They score on us. We get the ball back. 3 and out. They get the ball back. They get down there. They kick a field goal. We get the ball back. First down, 3 and out. It just knew it was going to be over. We lose 49-3. We get on the plane, silent as could be. Nobody's saying anything. We land the next Monday when you usually would go in, get your lift in. After that, talk to the media. Then you go talk to Rex Ryan, full team meeting. You break off offense, defense, and special teams. We went and buried. He had a little plot already dug behind on the practice field. Puts the ball in the ground. We buried it up, and we said we won't talk about that loss. We won't talk about that win. I mean, we won't talk about that loss. We won't talk about that team. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. I believe that that's not who you are. Do you believe that's not who I am as a coach? And we all said, hell yeah, I don't want to watch that film anyway. We didn't watch it. We got back to the basics, receivers on the jug machines, 100 catches after practice, little things like that. We start rolling again. We got to the playoffs. Got a chance to see those MFers again, and the rest is history. They will see the Baltimore Ravens again, in my prediction, in my hope. But at the end of the day, we buried the game and we moved forward.
I love that story, man.
Me too.
Yeah. Rex
I
Ryan,
love that
baby.
story.
I love Rex Ryan stories.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
It just goes back to, like, you know, what makes great leaders, right? You might not think that Rex Ryan's all that good of a football coach, but he's a great leader.
He's a leader of men.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what it takes now. Everybody's got the X's and O's. Everybody's got that stuff.
It takes the edge off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it takes the edge off, Ryan, is when the game, we all got our ass whooped that game. We all got beat up, whether it was the defense, the offense, the quarterbacks, the receivers, the DB. We all got beat up. We all had bad games. We all made mistakes. We all had mental errors. So when you have a game like that, you're in a fragile space as a team because you're waiting for the finger pointing, or you're waiting for somebody to say, well, I had a good game or something like that, and you just don't know where the edge is. When a coach takes the edge off by saying, hey, we all had a bad game. We're going to forget about that game, bury it. Now it's nothing to talk about. Now it's nothing to figure. Now it's nothing. Are people thinking about me? Was my game worse than his? Nobody's thinking about it. You're just like, cool, forget that game. Now it's time to play the Raiders.
Right, let me ask you about last week's. The Ravens were up 35-0.
A lot.
What were the Lion coaches telling? What were the Lion players doing? Because they had the whole half to play.
Right.
What is the team like when you know you're completely outmanned and you have no chance to come back?
Small wins. First of all, let's get a stop. Offense, let's sustain the drive. Let's win the second half. So they may win the game, but we won the second half. Fewer penalties in the second half. Extending drives in the second half, going out scoring some points in the second half, getting some stops in the second half. That's the conversation that those coaches were having with the Lions in there. And also, you want to come out healthy. Like, when you know the game's over, you want to come out healthy. So that was, and if you look at it, they scored 28 in the first half, and in the second half, I mean, they took their foot off the gas. But in the second half, they scored 8. So you look at it like that and say, all right, cool, we're still in there. You don't want to come out there and have an equal half to the first half, because then it shows we don't care, we didn't care, we didn't go in there and talk about anything. We actually really feel like we aren't that good. That's what that shows. They came out, they fought, they got a better second half than the first half, and it came out healthy for the most part. Sorry, Muhammad Ibrahim.
As a fan, I was watching that game, you know, and we were at a Hamlin pub, and the place was basically silent, and the place was packed. And all the Lion fans, we got our heads down, and we're all like trying to make jokes out of it. I could not wait till that game was over. I could not wait till that game was over. So I can't imagine being a player, getting blown out like that, and having to play against that team in Baltimore.
Well, it absolutely sucks, but it's a part of the game. And for fans, this should have been the fans' thought process. Look, we got beat on the road against Baltimore. Once again, Baltimore is 16-1 against NFC teams under Lamar Jackson. I repeat, Baltimore is 16-1 under Lamar Jackson at home since he's been the quarterback. You're missing C.J. G.J. You're missing David Montgomery. You're missing offensive lineman, a couple defensive players. You have a chance to get back. You're 5-2. You're number 2 in the NFC, and the schedule is favorable the rest of the way on. You need these early in the season to wake you up sometime. You got to have it. It's like a good punch in the first round of a boxing match. Okay. Whew. Hey, okay, all right. Maybe this isn't going to be an easy fight, or maybe the fourth round of the boxing match. So you needed to wake you up. I think it woke them up.
I do expect the Lions to play their best game on Monday night.
Yeah.
And I really do. Just as they get to break, as they head to break, they've got the bye coming up after this. The entire country is going to be watching. And all the entire country knows right now is that the Baltimore Ravens blew out the Lions, and that they are not as good as we thought they were. And now the Lions are going to be on that stage on Monday night, and everybody's going to get a chance to see who they are. And I think they're going to play their best football game.
The good thing, when you have stinkers and you're a team that's on prime time a lot, like the Lions are now starting to be, people are watching you a lot. People are going to watch you. So you get a quick chance to make people forget about last week. Yeah, it was Ravens. Yeah, it was a butt whooping. Yeah, people are going to think about that. But your next chance after you just got your butt whooped is on Monday Night Football, where everybody's going to be tuning into you. You come back, you have another really good game. I mean, you come back with a really good game. Then people are like, all right, you know what? It was one game. People will forgive you. It's prime time, and that'll be the last part of that stink that's on you from the Lamar Jackson game is, you know what? Boom, Monday Night Football. We balled. The country saw it. We're back in good graces. Let's keep the train rolling.
Keep in mind that the Raiders went in Chicago and got their doors blown off. A lot of the Chicago players were saying that team wasn't the team we prepped for. They looked jet lagged. They looked like they were unengaged. We had Hondo Carpenter in here yesterday, and he said it. They have just as much talent on that offensive side of the ball, or more, than the Lions do. And the way they played last week, now they get Jimmy Garoppolo back, that team is not going to just roll over either. So I expect the Raiders to play well as well.
I agree with that, Naz.